Today's video is going to be about how to properly use and schedule the use of your Denneroll at home. It's a cervical orthotic. It's a device that I've talked about in a previous video. So if you're curious about what it is and what it does and why I use it for myself and my patients, go back and watch that video first, and this one will make a lot more sense. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to be going over proper placement, proper usage, and like I said, timing. So how much time to spend on the Denneroll and how often you should be using it in a corrective phase versus in a more maintenance phase, we'll call it. So just watch the next few minutes and we'll hit the high points. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below or you can send me a message. All right, so this is the Denneroll. Mine's a little beat up, so I'll apologize for that. There's going to be 3 different sizes of the Denneroll. So if you don't have this one, you may have a smaller white or yellow. If you have a smaller size or a different color, it's because we've determined that your neck is not flexible enough to use the full-size gray one. So some important things to note here. Every Denneroll is going to have the same shape and contour. This is one of the best things about the Denneroll. This is designed to create that curve in your neck in the best way possible. It's a lot more superior to the kind of pyramid-shaped knockoff brands that you'll find. In terms of use at homes, it'll sit on the floor just like this with the curve up and the flat piece on the bottom. And then clearly marked right on the front, it says shoulders this side. So what that means, and you'll see it in the next clip, if you're laying on the floor, your head will be here and your body will be on this side of the Denneroll. Okay, so watch the next clip and you can see proper placement. Now in this clip here, I'm showing you how to properly position the Denneroll. So you can see I'm pushing it towards my shoulders. I'm gonna let my head relax over the top of it and my body is laying flat on a solid surface. This is what we call mid placement, where most of you will find it. Now what I've done is moved it a little bit lower, farther under my shoulders. We call that low placement. Now I'm moving it up into what we call a high placement, much closer to the base of my skull. For most people, you're going to want it mid to maybe mid-lower, just like I'm using it here. If we want you to do something different, we will tell you. All right, so to this point, I've explained to you how to position it and how to use it physically. Like I said, there's 3 positions, low, mid, and high. The majority of you are going to be using it in the mid to low position. If you're using it in a high position, it's because we found something very unique on your x-rays and we would have determined that and made that very, very clear. So if you're unsure, always place it mid to even slightly lower and you should be okay. Now I want to go through some points on how often to use it, when to use it, and some things to look out for when you're using it at home unsupervised. So according to Denneroll, what they suggest during the corrective phase is to use it 3 times a week for 10 to 15 minutes over a 9-week period, okay? So what that turns into essentially is basically using it every other night for about 2.5 to 3 months, okay? So again, every other night, it's not a lot. They say 10 to 15 minutes, and my suggestion is work your way up into that time frame. Initially, a lot of people will not feel comfortable using it for that long of a period of time. So in our office, I'll usually start it somewhere 5 to 8 minutes. And then as somebody gets more comfortable with it, then they can kind of progress their way into that 10 to 15 minute window. So during that corrective phase, you really want to be consistent with it. Remember, this is helping to stretch and restructure and remodel connective tissue. So using it once or twice a week here and there is not going to get the job done. Now, once you've kind of worked your way through that first couple months, my recommendation is to just continue using it at the same interval that you had been before. And you can back off a little bit if you want, but just like anything, if you worked out a bunch to stay in shape, you need to continue working out to a certain extent to maintain that level of fitness, and this is the same way. So you're going to use it a lot up front, and then you want to continue using it regularly to maintain the correction that you've made. So some things to look out for at home. The number one thing is the Denneroll should not be painful. If it's painful, you're either using it wrong, you could be using it correctly but using it too long, or you have the wrong size. And like we said before, if you're using the wrong size, what that really means is that your spine is not flexible enough to bend over the tall gray one, and so you should be downsizing into something that's not as tall, the white or the yellow, okay? If it's painful, just immediately remove it from under your neck, okay? Don't grit through the pain and suffer through the process. Just stop your time, take it out from under your neck, and then check in with your chiropractor to make sure you're using it the right way. Now, for a lot of people that have never used it, there is a certain level of discomfort because it is an unusual position, and we need to separate that weird new discomfort from something that's actually painful, okay? So again, if you're not sure of what that looks like, please just ask. This is an amazing tool if you use it the right way, but if you use it the wrong way and it creates pain and a pain response, it could create a setback too. So again, make sure that you're using it the right way in the proper position with the proper timing, and it'll be one of the best things you've ever done for your spine.